What's up, everybody? Welcome to another show. Welcome into Bookmakers Review. Please hit the like button, subscribe. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Your host, Jay Money. That's my guy, Jordan Sharp. That's my guy, Junior Browne. We're here to break down these NBA games, man. November 30th. This is the slate. What's up with you, Jordan? Everything cool with you, my brother?
Yeah, I wasn't on the show yesterday, but still got to win. We always tell you, check out BMR every day. There's some great stuff on there. Wrote up the first half under for Portland and Utah. Was an absolute great pace for that. That was the main thing I was glad to see in that one. But also, I don't think anybody scored for like the first 3 minutes, and there was only like 44 points, I think, in the first quarter. So that really helped as well. Portland's defense actually played well initially in that game if you're watching, and then they just completely let it go in the second half. The Jazz kind of figured things out, and Jazz have some problems, but also, they're still one of the cream of the crop in the West up there with Phoenix and Golden State, obviously. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of those three teams kind of comes out of the West, because right now it seems like that's the way it's going to be. But other than that, I didn't have a play on any other game yesterday. I wasn't on the show, so I'll kick it over to my guy JB. How you doing, Junior? How was your day?
Terrible. I went 0 for 3 yesterday, so looking forward to today. Bounce back. I'm not going to really make a big deal about it. The seasons have been a little bit weird. I feel like some of the plays, like, for example, I'm glad Jay hit that Pacers +3, because that was pretty goddamn close, a lot closer than it needed to be for him. Golden State Phoenix matchup. So not to say I'm ignoring the other games, but
it was an all right day, man. Quick recap. The Bulls, they came out messing around with the Hornets. Welcome back to the show, guys. Bookmakers Review. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button and subscribe. I'm your host, Jay Money. That's my guy, Jordan Sharp. That's my guy, Junior Browne. We're going to go ahead and get straight into these games today, Jordan. First game up, we got the Knicks versus the Nets. Nets laying 6.5 at the house. Total of 216.5. You like anything in this one?
Yep, this is actually the one game I do have a play on here tonight, and I got two of them. I got the first half and full game unders here. Under 110.5 first half. Under 216.5 full game. Couple reasons why I like this. The injury report probably being the first and foremost here for the Knicks, with the amount of guys they have listed questionable tonight. Rose, RJ Barrett questionable with the non-COVID illness. Like, there's possibility for some big offensive weapons for this team to sit out. And on top of that, we heard the news over the weekend that Kemba Walker is going to be out of the rotation now from ongoing. I don't know if that's going to help the Knicks offense. Their offense has been, good at times, but not quite consistent. But I do think that the goal in mind here is obviously defense, and that's going to be the main thing that improves here with Burks getting more minutes, and then quickly off the bench and Rose off the bench, obviously. But we don't know if Rose is going to play. Didn't play in their last game, and Burks got like 39 minutes in that one. So a lot of question marks on the Knicks end, but top of the most list here is obviously defense. That's something we've talked about with the Nets pretty much the entirety of the season, is that they have been playing better defense than we've seen from them pretty much since this iteration of the Nets came together, and their defense has been better than their offense. And at home, their first half defense has been incredible, and on the road, the Knicks' first half defense has actually been pretty good this year. Now, second half has probably hurt them more on the road than anything, but this isn't really a road game for either one of these teams, especially the Knicks here, despite the fact that game's not being played at the Garden. It's down there at Barclays. So I think the under here is a pretty good play. I expect both these teams to play down in pace. I expect this rivalry game to increase the defense. The crowd's going to be hot. This is going to be a pretty good game to kind of dictate both of these teams, especially the new look Knicks rotation going forward, whether or not it's going to help any of their woes or not. I expect it will a little bit, but I don't think it's going to completely solve their problems. Interested to see what you guys have to think about the Kemba to Burks kind of news and what you have to think about that. But the under here, I think, are both fantastic plays. I like the first half a little bit more than the full game, but I like both here, officials for today.
I got first half under, so I'm glad to see that Jordan's riding with me when it comes to that. I think 110.5 is a lot of points. I've been preaching that unless the Knicks finish in the top half of the league defensively, they will not be a playoff team. If you've been watching the Knicks games recently, even though the results are not always going their way, their defense is much better than it was the first couple of weeks of the season. Now, I don't love I don't love their home defensive metrics. I don't think they're great. But the first half numbers it's a little high considering the full game total. I also think that obviously Brooklyn's defense, is taking a huge step up. So there's that to consider as well. Joe Harris is out of the lineup. He's making 3 threes a game, shooting lights out. So that puts more of an offensive burden, on Harden and Kevin Durant. And finally, I just think this is a playoff type atmosphere. This game matters to these franchises, no matter what. Well, I shouldn't even say no matter what they say. They don't even try to hide it. They don't like each other, and for good reason. The Nets are pretenders to the Knicks city, right? So the Nets got the talent, the Knicks got the city's heart, and they're going to do battle. They don't like each other. I love that they don't like each other because there's not enough of that in today's NBA. I know we complain a lot about old school versus new school. If I could be an old school guy for a second, there's not enough teams that don't like each other because that makes for better basketball. I think it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, which plays towards the under. So that's my play for this game, under 110.5 first half.
Yeah, that's a good point. And guess what? When you don't like each other, you actually take defense serious as well. So that's why I think that you're starting to see a little bit more unders come through. Obviously, the new basketball, even though we're like 20 games in, it's still an adjustment period for these NBA players. So I like the look by you guys with the total there. I must say, for me, I didn't make a play on this game. It's really hard for me to lean. Like, I'd like to say I'd lean Knicks full game. I like what they're doing there. I like the energy that Quickly plays with. He needs more minutes. And another thing, guys, just like what you're saying, Kemba Walker being out is only going to help this team defensively because he was one of their worst defenders, getting cooked out there every time he was out there on the floor. So he was a big part of why their defense is so bad. It should definitely get a lot better with Burks. We should see if RJ Barrett plays this game. Obviously, he's questionable. But Quickly, I love the energy from that guy there, man. I love watching him play with the fro and everything, man. So,
Jay,
I do. What's up?
I was just going to say, I completely agree with what you're saying right now. If Rose and Barrett sit, if anybody hangs in Emmanuel Quickly prop tonight, I'm firing at it.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm ready. They're not going to hang up right now because all those guys are questionable. But if they get rolled out, I'm ready. I'm ready tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. So, yeah, it's crazy. But the Nets coming off a home loss as well. This is the second straight home game. So, in theory, they should want to turn up here. I'd like to say I lean the Nets early here. I'd like to say that, especially with the Knicks starting to figure out new rotation and stuff. I'd like to say I lean Nets first quarter, first half. Let's get to the next game here, man. Let's go to the streets of Toronto here. We got the Grizzlies versus the Raptors. Revenge spot for the Grizzlies. They just lost to the Raptors a couple of games ago. Obviously, they still had Ja Morant there in that game. So now we have the Raptors here. This line opened up at 4. It's down to 3.5. Total sitting at 216 right now, Jordan. Well, we're going to go to Junior first, my Toronto guy. I kind of like the Raptors here, Junior. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you like the Raptors. I mean, this number continues to plummet. Opened at 5.5, now it's down to like 3.5. Without Ja Morant, it's kind of hard to like the Grizzlies. I just don't love the way the Raptors' offense looks right now. They're having a hard time putting points up on the board. They've only scored over 110 points once in their last 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. Their offense looks like a struggle. They did put up a lot of points against the Memphis Grizzlies though when they beat them last week, and the Grizzlies defense has been the weak point of that team. So it's a revenge game spot for Memphis, but at the same time, revenge game without the guy, your do everything guard, without the leader of your team, your best scorer, your best playmaker, the guy that plays with the most heart. Like, you can't really underestimate what Ja Morant means to that team and to that offense. So, yeah, the Raptors defense isn't what it was, but in this specific spot without Ja Morant, I feel like they can key into what the rest of the Grizzlies do and do enough to get a win. I'd love to see that number come down to 3, but gun to my head at 3.5, I'd have to go Raptors.
Jordan, what you think on this one?
This is one that I missed out on last night, the movement of the total at least. It was at 219 when it opened. You see OG's out. You see Gary Trent's questionable. You obviously Ja Morant's not going to play in this one. Like, you just see all these guys missing, and you're like, how does either one of these two teams score? And then the number plummeted. Now it's down three points or whatever. So I ended up thinking I'm going to lay off that, just simply because also the thing that made me lay off it last night is kind of this thing that it is continuing to make me lay off of it now. And it's something Junior mentioned. It's just the Grizzlies defense is atrocious right now, even against this Toronto team. It's not going to be good. I mean, one of the things that makes good defenses in the NBA is shot making, being able to make shots on the other end, and being able to run back and set your defense. And now without Ja Morant, like, you think that that's going to improve tonight for Memphis? No, especially if Toronto plays good defense, which they've proven they can do at home. So it's just a ton of things making me want to stay away from this one. I initially, like I said, I think the under is a good play. I think it could still be a good play. But then again, like, the other thing that kind of is keeping me from liking Toronto here is that Memphis offensively, I think without Ja, can at least not necessarily replace him, but they have the depth at the guard position to at least give Toronto a couple of different looks that they may not be ready for early here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Memphis kind of jump out and surprise them a little bit. But overall, throughout 4 quarters, yeah, I'd have to lean Toronto too, I think, at this point. But I don't think I'm going to get there either way. Just a little sad I missed out on that movement here last night. But I still think that if they're going to take 123 points for 100 possessions their last 5, like, yeah, the under's not hitting if that happens again. They gotta bring some semblance of defense here if the under's gonna cash here, and I don't think I'm gonna get there for that very reason.
Yeah, what you see a lot, guys, whenever the star player goes out, their team will step up for one game, right? Mm-hmm. So they just went up there and smashed the Kings by 30-something points. The Kings aren't a great they're not a great defensive team, and they caught them on the road. And like I say, the next game, they know they're going to be without him for a while, so they're going to have to play a lot better. At some point, it's going to run out. They could even step up for maybe 2 games, but I still don't think I like taking revenge games, but not every single time. This is one where I think the Raptors will beat them again. If they could do it on the road, I know they haven't been playing too well at the house, but this is the second home game off that road trip. I think the Raptors will get right tonight at the house. They play good enough defense to exploit that Morant miss for the Grizzlies. Even though they have Tyus Jones, DeAnthony Melton, he still no Ja Morant attacking the basket, one of the top 5 players in the league. So I think the Grizzlies are about to go on a slide here, especially against really good defensive teams that, like I say, can exploit that weakness, my guys. So if Gary Trent Jr.'s in, I'm hopping straight on the Raptors right then. So it's still coming down now. I don't have to bet it right now. I need Gary Trent in there though, because they're already limited offensively. Let's get to the next game, my guys. Let's go to this biggest game of the day. We got the Warriors versus the Suns. Man, I'm talking about could be Western Conference Finals. You dig what I'm saying? This line opened up at 2. It's up to 2.5 for the Suns. The total was actually down to 219.5. It's actually starting to come up 221.5, which is a little bit surprising to me. 2 of the top 6 defenses in the league here, Jordan. I like the under here, man. I think points will be to a premium here. Both of these teams are absolutely stout defensively. What are we doing here, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, 2 best teams basically in the league right now, and it could be Western Conference Finals. I think at this point it is really the Jazz. Like I said at the beginning of the show, they're the only team that could even threaten them right now out of the Western Conference until some of these other teams get healthy and we see them at the end of the season. So I mean, yeah, as of now, I can't see any scenario where these 2 teams aren't the number 1 and number 2 seed in the Western Conference. But yeah, kind of a huge benchmark game, obviously, for these 2 teams. For that reason, I think that's why the total's going up, because I think you could see a little feeling out process maybe early in the game. If this first half total goes over, but the full game goes under, it wouldn't surprise me at all, because I think that's kind of it's gonna boil down to pace. Basically, it's gonna be, are the Suns going to be able, or are the Suns going to play up in pace to the Warriors, or are they going to say, because they've been doing that this season at times, they're not immune to that. Or are they going to say, we're going to grab this game and to a halt, and we're not going to let you guys get out and run and do what you do best? And so that, I think, alone is kind of that debate in my mind, at least at this point, is kind of what's brought me away from this total. But I completely agree with you, Jay. When I saw this at 2, and I see any total this season at 220 points, my red lights start flashing in my head, right? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's an underplay. But these 2 teams have also been top 2 teams offensively in the last 10 games as well. I mean, you can't really. I think that they both have about 100 points per 100 possessions of defensive rating. Yeah, and they're both around 114 offensive rating in the last 10. And the Suns obviously haven't lost a game in that stretch, and the Warriors are 9-1. So lean towards the Warriors a little bit here, I think, but not enough. Just because they're taking points, this game seems like a pick 'em at best because they're so evenly matched. But yeah, that under seems like a little bit better play. I'm kind of debating also, and I'm interested to see what you guys have to say is what correlates with the under, who winning this game correlates with the unders, because that's also something I can't figure out right now. So nothing official on me, but you damn sure I'm going to be glued to this one, because this is it's one of the better regular season games. We probably will have had most of the regular season here outside of the ones that have been real contentious.
Junior, I go on a limb and say I would say Warriors and under, Suns and over. That's what I would say.
I hope you're right because I have both the Warriors money line and the under. So we're
on the same wavelength. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in line with that thinking. I think Golden State's the best team in the NBA. I think that Golden State feels disrespected that some of these so-called experts who don't happen to put money on any of these games pick them to not even make the playoffs. I think that they have the best defense in the league, home or away. They come to play on defense every night. And when you have the type of offensive firepower that they do, and it's not even just like forget about what Steph is doing because like he's doing some MVP-like stuff. All of their guys just have a lot of confidence in themselves. Like they don't just sit around and rely on Curry. Like they got a couple different guys that can go out there and get you some buckets. I'm just basing this pick on the fact that Phoenix, even though their 16-game winning streak is impressive, they had to have things go their way in a lot of those wins. They weren't necessarily dominant. They weren't necessarily, and I feel weird saying a team that's won 16 games in a row hasn't been as impressive as you might think. That just seems like a weird thing to say. But I actually watch games, and they could have lost quite a few of those games if we're just being honest. Whereas the Warriors, even though they're not on a 16-game winning streak, their 7-game win streak, I feel like it's been more impressive. And again, maybe I'm just biased because I feel like they're doing it with defense. And it's not to say that the Suns aren't. I just feel like when I watch the Warriors, their defense is more flexible. They can switch. Everybody could switch. Everybody's rotates where they're supposed to be. Steph, basically, because they have to hide Steph on defense, but their team defense is so superior to everybody else's that Steph doesn't even really look like the bad defender that he is because he's not a good defender. He's just not. But their team concepts on defense are able to hide those mistakes. And I think that this is a playoff atmosphere-like game, which also plays to the under. No matter what, Chris Paul doesn't hate anybody in the league more than he hates Steph Curry. I mean, how many times is Steph Curry going to put this guy on a highlight? And for those of you that don't pay attention, they're both from North Carolina. They're both North Carolina guys. So that rivalry goes even deeper than just the NBA. That's like a local rivalry. One guy looking up to the other and then surpassing him. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of elements going into this game. I think the Warriors come out and reassert themselves as the king of the hill. And I like the under because I think it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. And I just think that the Warriors defense is equipped to slow down the Suns offense. I'm very interested to hear what Jay got to say about this game, though.
Yeah, that's me. That's me, bro. I didn't take the side here, but I did bet the under. Like I say, I'd be looking towards the Warriors as well, man. On the road now, we got a little funky spot here, right? Because these teams play again on December 3rd. Mm-hmm. The Suns will have a game before that, but the Warriors will be off until the end. So it's Warriors or nothing for me in this game. It's just a game that I think that the under is a better play just for me. You guys know I hate playing totals, but that's the one that I'm going to defer here just because I know that both teams play really sticky defense, and like you say, with all of the stuff going on with Steph Curry versus Chris Paul, they've been two of the top teams in the West. I think every single possession points will be at a premium here. Like they will be turned up on defense every possession, and we may not just get like that fast frenetic pace. So I like the under here. I think that's the better play just for me. And if I was betting the side, yeah, I would be taking the points in this game. It could be a close game, come down to the wire, but I think the Warriors will win this game. I'm with you. The dub 16 Suns. First game back at the house after their 4-game road trip as well. I know they had a couple of days off, but they probably actually had their Thanksgiving, you know what I'm saying, once they got to the house. So just kick their feet up, chilling. I think it could end tonight, my guys. They've been teetering on their loss. Heavy lean to Warriors and definitely taking the under. Last game up, we're going to the streets of Sacramento. We got the Kings here catching points versus the Lakers down to 3.5 here. Obviously, the Lakers just lost in triple overtime to this team, so you do have the revenge game here. It's in Sacramento. I know they have a good offense, but if it's me, it's Lakers or nothing for me here. Probably not betting this game, but I do think that the Lakers are slowly starting to figure it out. Russell Westbrook starting to understand the shots that he needs to take and not take. LeBron and AD starting to get on the same page here. Jordan, what you doing?
Yeah, this is another one where I hear J Money in my head when I look at this game, thinking I don't force plays, and that's kind of how I feel about this game. Because you're right, that triple overtime game combined with the injury report, combined with this game, being a home and home, is just all kind of just leading me to lay off. That being said, if the Kings were fully healthy, I'd probably be interested in taking the points again. But you're right, Jay. You said something that you're right. Like the last and Junior and I have kind of talked about this as well. And then when you've been come back to made your return to the show, we've also talked about it. Like the Lakers have hit their valley essentially, I think, of fading them, and they're slowly trying to climb their way out of it, both with their play and with the numbers that they're getting spotted by the sports books. And everybody healthy with Harrison Barnes likely not going to play. Yeah, this is probably a Lakers spot. Like this is things turn around. You could sell a team, for a week or two and buy them a week or two later. This happens in this sport all the time, especially with the day-to-day grind of the NBA. That's exactly what you're seeing here, because I think before the season started, you were like, oh, the Lakers are only 3.5 points against the Kings. That's easy money. Then 3-4 weeks ago, you're like, oh, I'm taking the points. The Kings are at home against the Lakers. Lakers suck. That's. Things are starting to turn around for this Lakers team. It's going to start on defense, but you guys are right. Their offense is starting to slowly come around. They're going to get healthier. They're gonna progress back to where we think they should be. And this game coming off, like you said, I hate the second half of these home and homes. I despise betting them, and so I'm not going to start tonight. I think I'm going to stay away from this one.
The Lakers are not losing to the Kings in 2 out of 3 games.
Simple as that.
That's just not going to happen. I know we should be more professional and cap it better than that. But I look at this matchup, it's just the Kings. First of all, the Kings have this weird thing going on where they don't shoot nearly as well at home as they do on the road. They already kind of did the job by beating these guys the first time. Not beating them the first time, but really taking it to them. The Lakers are not losing to the Kings in 2 out of 3 games. I'm sorry. That's as simple as that. I don't have a play on this game because I watched the Lakers. I'm going to tell you something right now. And Jordan mentioned we've been doing this show, the three of us, for a couple of years now. I've been saying that LeBron can't beat anyone one-on-one for like 2 years. If you watch the last couple of games where he's basically just shooting these like step back, fade away, whatever you want to call them shots, when he makes them, they look amazing. But if that's what you're relying on in crunch time, that's a problem. I'm not ready to. I'm going to tell you right now. This is actually learning. This game is a watch and learn for me, because I'm very interested to see how the market is going to price Lakers versus Clippers on Friday. I feel like there's going to be a lot of value to be had in that game. I feel like they're going to overvalue the Clippers, and you're going to be able to get a buy low spot on the Lakers unless they, throw up a donut here against the Kings. But it's Lakers or nothing for me. I got no play on this game, though.
Yeah, I think the Lakers will smash them. Simply put, I didn't bet the game, but it depends. If things go right earlier, I may sprinkle some on it. It's Lakers or nothing for me here, and I kind of like to bet those home and homes. Like when you have the loser, especially triple overtime, they really wanted to win that game and lost straight up, and they laid 7.5 in that game at the house. And Sacramento's now, I know they got a new coaching change this year, but we went from Luke Walton to Alvin Gentry. What are we doing here, right? So it's kind of like equals, if you ask me. It's not really a strong voice coming in there. Hey, look here, guys. So and so, do this, do that. Nah, man, it's still Gentry over there. He couldn't even do it with the Pelicans. So I think the Lakers will smack them. Nothing official for me. Let's get to the official picks, my guys, so we get out of here. Yes, sir. Jordan, I'm gonna let you go first, my guy. What you got official?
Yeah, official for today. I got 2, both on this New York and Brooklyn game. Battle in New York got under 216.5. Full game got under 110.5 for the first half, and I am very close to riding with you on that under that Golden State Phoenix game. That might be the next one I jump on, but those are the only 2 right now official.
What you got, Junior?
I got 3 official. Brooklyn, New York, first half under 110.5. The under in the Suns, Warriors, and Warriors.
I like it, my guys. Waiting for Gary Trent Jr. As soon as he's ruled in, I'm hopping straight on the Raptors. Even if he's out, still Raptors are nothing for me. The Grizzlies without Ja Morant. And then I already took the Warriors and Suns under, so that's my official play. I have money on it. I think it'll be a rock fight type of game, defensive championship finals type of game, man. So give me the under that. You guys know I don't play totals, so hey, I like the under here, man. Let's cash these tickets. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Go to bookmakersreview.com, all that stuff, man. Hit the like button, subscribe. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We back tomorrow.